So you started flipping stuff before you opened your dealership?
Yes. So probably 7 years ago, as a high school math teacher, I have no equipment industry background. I played sports growing up, high school, college basketball. It wasn't really an interest. It's not like it's about lawnmowers for me or anything like that, but it definitely, taught me business in a short period of time. And now my passion is absolutely business. So.
Okay, so what got you selling things on Facebook Marketplace? Like, what was the event that started that?
The initial event is just teachers' income,
Mhm,
wife at home, baby coming, and you see a bank account that's just staying the
mhm.
same. Right? So just trying to come up with something to increase the income. So, that's what spawned it all basically. And that's where I started. And it was literally, I went to an estate sale and I saw this beautiful church pew in the entranceway. They're selling for $80. And I just thought that was my first moment, I think of like large entrepreneurship of thinking that is worth more than $80.
Mhm.
And people talk about flipping. And so I just tried it with that, right? And so I sold that, probably a few $100 and I bought some other things and, you know, that idea started there, right? And it was in the
Yeah.
process and you do other things to make money. YouTube certified research on how to flip houses that I moved and was doing a live-in flip and arbitraging Craigslist, arbitraging Facebook. That started because I saw a couch that I had to sell when I moved. I saw the equivalent couch for $50 and it was in better shape than the one I had sold for $200. And that's where it all started. I'm going to buy this to straight flip it, right off the internet. And I made, $250 within a day. And that just, the itch started, right after that.
Where did you hear about this first estate sale that you went to? How did you end up there?
That's a great question. Who knows? I was probably surfing around Craigslist and
Yeah.
I always like going to garage sales and things like that. So I don't even know how, that came to be, but I love going to estate sales. I love garage sales because that's where deals are. And
Yeah.
now my passion is sales. I love sales, but it was the art of finding the deal. Like that was absolute
Yeah.
passion, right? So that's kind of where that stemmed from for sure.
Now, when you bought this pew, did you do any research on what it was worth, or you just assumed it'd be worth a few $100?
That question is the exact framework that I work off of is when I'm exploring a new market to try to buy something different, it is an absolute no-brainer that I'm going to make money. Okay? Because I'm buying it the first time I enter into a new market, it's an absolute no-brainer than making money. So, for example, the first enclosed trailer that I ever bought used. Now, you tell me without doing any research if you think this is a good deal. A 16-foot enclosed trailer, so you can picture what an enclosed
Yeah.
trailer
Yep.
was posted for $300.
What?
Yeah, so you don't know about that.
I know what those cost. Like,
So, yeah, I sold that trailer. That was my first trailer, and I sold that for $3,000, right?
why was it so cheap? Did they just misprice it?
So it was
Did they
covered
steal it?
covered knowledge, been sitting there for years, and it was this guy needed it gone, and it wasn't about the price and whatever. So it started, make this into a business. But I was a teacher, right? So this was still when I was teaching, and I had a former student that had two lawnmowers on the back of a trailer on the east side of the state of Michigan, and this guy on Craigslist lives 10 minutes from where I had one of my students out on the road. And you have to win on speed, with
Mhm.
and I saw this 4 minutes after it was posted. So I tell him we're on the way. The stars have aligned because I've got my guy 10 minutes from that location. And I send him over there. I've got a trailer full of lawnmowers, and I just told, the kid, I said, just pay the guy. Okay. Just pay him and we will come back. And the guy actually, he has a title with it, which you would think this thing's stolen, and it's not. And I didn't even know about titles at that point, but he had the title for it. And, you just figure things out as you go. Because
Yeah.
you know what happened when the high school kid went back to pick this trailer up is he's getting onto the highway and, the guy tells him, because with trailers, you got a 2-inch ball, you got a
I
2-inch,
know where this is going. I know exactly where this is going.
it goes, and of course, there's no safety chance, right? There's no safety chance. So it detaches from the truck. It goes on the highway across
Oh, no.
median into the other side. No
No.
one is killed. No one is hurt. He hooks back up. He may have gotten a ticket for no safety chains for $30 or something. I mean, just crazy.
Wow.
That was what probably, who knows? If it was me, I hope I would have seen that, right? But the point is, you take action. You figure things out as
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So that was the $300 trailer?
That was the 300. That was the
And
first.
if you're 5 minutes later, it's gone. Like, a
Yeah.
deal that good.
He got there within 15 minutes of the post, and the guy's, you can imagine, right? A trailer posted that low. So, and that's the exact,
Yeah.
learn what to say to keep the deal and all that sort of stuff. But I didn't have the skills at that point to know how to keep that deal closed to me. I was so lucky that I had someone, in the area.
So what are those skills that you developed? If someone comes across something like this, what can they do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, number one, you need to get them actually talking to you. You need to get them on the phone. That's number one. Okay?
Mhm.
Because you and me talking right now on Zoom, that creates a whole different level than if we were texting,
Yeah.
right? It's a whole
Yep.
level from email.
Someone else is going to get them on the phone. So it better be you.
If you and me were across from each other sitting right now, you would try
Mhm.
that much more as well, right? So you got to get that the closest proximity to that point, you're going to sell better. But you have to ask those questions. The other guy is going to offer him $600, right? And so you can literally frame people and you can say, I want to know that your word is good, that we have a deal. And you have to just go crazy to reaffirm that the deal is closed. You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
one thing, but there's a lot of things you have to do. And so, of course, you can give a deposit on Venmo, PayPal, all, things like that.
Yep.
And you can protect against scamming. And you're talking to a real person at that point, right? So that's
Mhm.
one, right? Give them a deposit on Venmo, PayPal, any of those sorts of things, and that will absolutely secure the deal. No one's gonna actually sell it out from under you if you have given them some money.
Now, I love it because most people would see this in a different area. They're like, dang it, that's such a good deal. Whatever. Let's go find the next one. And you're like, no, I know a guy. I'm going to call him. And even if you didn't know a guy, everything's figure outable. Like you could hop on a local Facebook group and say, hey, $150 to whoever can get this trailer the soonest. Then you could pay him a deposit. And then you could just, you know what I'm saying? Like there's 100 ways to make that deal work, even if it's not close to you.
This is how the business started to get created, is you realize it's all about speed, right? So now I develop people that number one, it's me first doing it, right? And already I got to the point at that point that someone else was in a truck for me. But you have to figure out what's the dollar amount that you could literally call somebody and in a moment's time, they would say, yep, I'll get on the road and help you out. They're not gonna do it for 10
Yeah.
an hour. Will they do it for 15? Is it a retired guy? Is it your dad? Dad will probably do it for no money. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but the point is, if you want to build an actual business, you got to do it from, someone who's not related to you. For me, the sweet spot is like $20 to $25 an hour. If it's mine,
Mhm.
it's literally like $40 to $60 an hour if it's their truck. That number doesn't matter. You just got to do the math on that and take that out of the deal. And you do the math on seeing if it can go. But you got to build, if you're flipping like that, you got to build out the call list, so to speak. If this guy can't do it, I'm calling the next guy.
Yeah.
If I get 4 or 5 down the line and this deal's going to make $1,000, I hate to ask it of my wife, but can I miss dinner tonight? You don't want to. So the longer you build that out, the more you protect
Yeah.
actually being able to have a life,
Yeah. So when you started doing this as a teacher, how long until this income replaced your teacher's income or exceeded it?
Once I started buying lawnmowers, it was instantaneously. So
Okay.
the first lawnmower I bought was right at the summer of, a summer, and I made a couple bucks on the zero turn. Then I bought
And remind me what city you're in again?
Jackson, Michigan.
Jackson, Michigan. All right.
So
Couple $100 on your first zero turn.
the second one I made closer to 500, and that's when the light bulb really went off. And that summer I bought and sold 30 of them. So I profited 20 to 30K that summer, just summer.
Yeah.
And so then alongside teaching, it was absolutely past it, and that was
Yeah.
it's hard, right? Because you're teaching, that's happening after, teaching hours. At the end of that teaching year, the students that didn't like me, because I was too regimented or whatever it would be, they were telling the principal, he's calling people in between class to strike deal. I was like, It's true. I knew I was leaving by the end of that summer anyway. So
Yeah.
I liked it, but I caught something that just grabbed hold of me, that I
Yeah. Yeah.
love with.
Hey, believe it or not, this is actually just a small segment of the full episode. If you want to watch the full episode of this, check out the link in the description.